Hello, everyone. Welcome to Take the Black Live, the only show on the internet where myself, Dan Selke of winnerscoming.net, and Mia Johnson of darksideoftheforce.com ask the questions no other podcast, website, or pundit will dare ask. Questions about, was the episode of Loki good? Are we looking forward to House of the Dragon? And who's in House of the Dragon? What of Star Wars? What of Secession? What TV and movies are we watching? What TV movies are you watching? You can only get it here on Take the Black. I'll be out there. Feel free to leave comments. We will be chatting back and forth with you as we go over some of the big news of the day. Julie, good to see you. Says hi, and Mia. Hello, Julie.
Hello.
All right, Mia, and how are you? How was your long weekend? To our U.S. watchers, how was your 4th of July weekend?
Yeah, it was really good. I just enjoyed. We had about 4 days off, so that was a nice rest. It's like my first day back, and it's Wednesday, so as usual, I don't know what day it is, but no, I had a great time going to the beach with my family. There were like just fireworks literally everywhere. But it was a good time. It finally felt like summer for me, and I enjoyed that.
Oh, it felt like summer for me the first time I came home, more sweat than person, and just like kind of like I took a shower in my own body. Like that's when I knew summer was here. So it's been like for a while, but I'm glad that it's been rung in for you. I spent a lot. It's bad. And hey Jen, good to see you, Jen Casey. Hey Lisa, hey Lamont. And why don't we just get into it, Mia? You ready? Because we have some good stuff to talk about today.
Let's go.
Okay. Starting with, we have some new news about the forthcoming Game of Thrones prequel series, House of the Dragon, which is the first of several they're developing, the only one we know is going forward. Really brief recap, set over 100 years before Game of Thrones. It tells the story of two factions within the Targaryen family fighting each other for the Iron Throne, dragon fighting dragon, brother fighting brother, stepdaughter fighting stepmother, which is relevant to us here because they just announced some new casting news that is very interesting. So we already knew that Emma Darcy is playing Rhaenyra Targaryen, who is, I'm just going to keep saying this. I said over 100 years. That's accurate. I was going to keep saying this until we all sink in. She is the daughter of King Viserys and the king's chosen heir to the throne. And then Olivia Cooke is playing Alicent Hightower, who is the king's second wife, so Rhaenyra's stepmother, who they get along okay at first, and then Alicent has some children with the king, and she is like, I'd really rather my children be the successor rather than you, Rhaenyra. Sorry about that. And it's more complicated than that, but basically that's the nugget of conflict, and then that explodes into war when the king dies. Okay, so we've seen this. I'm excited. It's a good story. We've talked about it before. Yeah. What's the new intriguing wrinkle is they announced 2 new actors joining, and they are playing those characters I just mentioned. They are playing younger versions of Rhaenyra Targaryen and Alicent Hightower. We have Millie Alcock as young Rhaenyra Targaryen, and we have Emily Carey as young Alicent Hightower. First of all, how much do they look like the older actors to start?
The woman, okay, at the top, I can almost see it in the eyes. They kind of have like a squinty expression. I'm sure when you dye the hair, it'll look the same as well. At the bottom, it could be similar. I don't think, it's not a bad match, but I think it looks like some pretty good spot on casting just based off these preliminary looks.
I agree, and I'm personally a fan of you are not more effusive about how much they look like. No, I'm kidding. I'm not.
Oh.
But, I do think they look pretty accurate. Like I think they did a good job finding these people, and both of those actors, by the way, both Emily and I've already forgotten their name, Millie, are both like fairly decorated. Like Emily, I don't have their names down yet. I'm sorry. Emily Carey, I think like played a young Wonder Woman in the first Wonder Woman movie when they like had flashbacks to Amazonia. And she's like in a couple of things on her own. Like they're both, for being young actors, like 19 and 20-ish. They both have good resumes. But okay, what's interesting about this is that they're casting younger versions at all. Like, what does that mean? Like, are we going to get flashbacks? Is it going to be a crown situation where they just kind of, the younger
Take us
actors play
through.
the characters for the first few episodes, then switches over? Or, and this is what I really don't want to happen, is it going to be a Witcher situation where we have like multiple timelines going
Ooh.
at once? What do you think, Mia? What does
I
this mean?
think it's sounding more likely that we've got two actresses not for flashback scenes. I'm like thinking prequels, like yeah, we're gonna have something. But no, I think they're probably just gonna cut in some prequel scenes. Seeing as I don't know how much this will happen though, because I'm thinking too like stuff like Loki, where we had castings for like a young girl, a young boy, and we kind of see that, okay, well, the young girl was like a young Sylvie and she was in there briefly. And then
Oh,
the
right, yeah.
boy turned out to be Kit Loki. So he was there for the duration of that episode, and that's about it.
Smart.
So, um, yeah, I can't predict too much. And of course, I don't know the whole story of it anyway, but I would say they probably might just come in for like a nice little scene to set everything up, give you some backstory, and who knows how often, if ever, we would see them again.
They are recurring, which means that we're going to see them in more than one episode. Now, okay,
Okay.
I like what Nicole said, because it is my fear. God, please, not like The Witcher. Okay, and it's not just The Witcher. There was like a small epidemic of shows like wanting to be, we're going to be clever, we're going to be smart, and we're going to like have these like multiple timelines running concurrently, and it was always awful. Like The Witcher did it. This new Resident Evil show is doing it, and I fear that. Oh, I guess Westworld was kind of famous for doing like multiple timeline stuff, and like
Yeah.
it sort of worked in the first season, didn't work in the second. It's the whole thing, but that kind of conceit to me, when I've seen it, works in very specific circumstances, and
Mm-hmm.
it seems like people have just gotten a hold of it and just throw it around for fun. And I
Yeah.
really hope the House of the Dragon writing team hasn't been bewitched by that, to include that in their thing.
You know what I wonder though, because these are like visibly younger actresses, kind of like with Westworld, which I thought that was clever. You know, thinking about like Dolores, it was the same actress, so you couldn't really
That one
tell.
wasn't bad. Yeah.
You couldn't tell one way or the other if the scene was in the past or in the present, maybe aside from, the man in the black hat. So in Westworld, they like to be clever like that. I don't think, the show wants to be, one of those brain teaser types of shows or anything like that. So I'm hoping they just play it by the books and focus more so on the story than trying to like blow your mind about some huge reveal.
Yes, I agree with you. And again, I agree that Westworld did it okay. Not the second season, they took it too far, I thought, and then it got confusing. But the first season I liked it. The Witcher, I agree with Nicole. So bad. It took me 4 episodes to figure it out because I haven't read the books or played the games. Okay, Nicole, I've read the books, played the games. I had no idea what's going on either. Like, that was just bad. It was just bad. So it works for that. As Lamont says, I think they're just going to have big time skips between episodes, much like Nellie Dormer's The Tudors in chronological order. I would be fine with that. That's kind of like The Crown style, where you just have different actors playing it.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't mind flashbacks. I know that Game of Thrones avoided them. Game of Thrones famously had almost no flashbacks. It had like one to Cersei's childhood and a Woods Witch thing.
Yeah.
And then it had like Bran's going back in time, but didn't really count because it's like he's still Bran, whatever. But it didn't have them, and I thought that I thought that was bold, because like flashbacks can kind of be a crutch, right? Like if you just want to, whenever you need to take a break, or just like, oh, I forgot that detail, just do it. I like that Game of Thrones committed to being kind of straightforward, and it was different. It was interesting, and that kind of gave it an immediacy I really, really liked. And I hope they take that spirit. I don't think they'd be dumb enough to Witcher this up. That is my hope.
Yeah. They probably have seen it too, or just kind of observed and been like, no, that's not effective, it's not going to work for us, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, as Lamont says, flashbacks are lazy. Like, they're just not all that fun to do. Never mind, we'll talk about that later. And I'm glad they didn't have my Game of Thrones, and I hope. But it's true that House of the Dragon is it takes place over like a decade and change, or like a longish period. And these characters do evolve a lot. Like I don't know exactly how far they're going to go back, but like Alicent Hightower like has things she does as a child with like the old king. And then she marries the new king, she has children, they grow up. So we are talking a big span, so it makes sense to have things to happen. And I'm looking forward to seeing them do it. And I hope they don't I hope they just keep a hold on this kind of when and where they need to deploy these kind of techniques. That's what I'm looking forward to. As Nicole says, it's already a flashback as a whole, kind of, for Game of Thrones. Good point. The entire thing is a flashback. All right. Also, any other thoughts on this, Mia? Any of you? Any thoughts on the new actors, what it means for the timelines, any of that good stuff?
None for me. And
lovely.
Looks like chat is good too, or we'll come back to it.
Oh, lovely. All right. We also got really briefly. Okay, this is kind of cool, guys. I don't know 100% what this is, but there was a crew member who posted a behind the scenes shot from what we're pretty sure is House of the Dragon. Now, he didn't say that that's what it was, but you just look at it and you kind of like very much get this sense.
Yeah.
It looks like the Red Keep throne room. And again, they gave the kind of that they indicated that it was a Game of Thrones thing, because this thing went down pretty much immediately after it was posted, which always tells you, oh, someone messed up.
Yeah.
So yeah, very cool. That could be the Red Keep throne room. And I love the little torch on the wall. It looks like a dragon torch to me, although I'm not 100% sure.
Like
what do you
think?
Think?
Dragon with wings. I almost thought a seahorse, but it looks more like a dragon and its wings.
Okay.
You have to like zoom in. Yeah.
Cool that you said that though, because seahorse, it could be a seahorse thing, because we talked about it before. There is a powerful house in House of the Dragon called the Valerians, whose sigil, they have sigils like the Starks are a wolf and the Lancers are a lion, the Targaryen. The Valerians have a seahorse, and we know they're going to film at their palace, High Tide. All these new names, even I'm catching up with them too. It's possible that could be that, but I also like the idea that the Targaryens, before Robert Baratheon took over the Red Keep, had like dragon sconces on the walls that were torn down once the new king got in. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I bet that's fun as kind of the set designers. Like, okay, you've got kind of the whatever Baratheon was doing, and then the Lannisters would have been there, or am I mistaken? So
I say again?
Would the Lannisters have been there as well after him?
Back here?
At the Red Keep?
In House of the Dragon times?
No, in regular Game of Thrones. Like in the regular series.
That's there. Yeah, because Cersei is married to Robert Baratheon, and then Tywin Lannister is a presence at court.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was making sure I didn't like step out. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. So I'm just saying, yeah, as a kind of set director perspective, it's like, okay, this is how this would be decorated, with Cersei and Jaime. But now that it's so many years prior to, how can I play around with this if it is, like you were saying, the Targaryens in power, whoever else. I don't know. I like those little details when, they set designers put all this care and attention to like how the place should look based off of this character and all that. Sorry, I can geek out about that a lot, but yeah, it's an interesting detail.
And Game of Thrones has great set design. It always did. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the selling points, right? Of this like kind of whole new fantasy era where they pour so much money into stuff. Lamont is complaining about the seahorse. I think the complaint is that there's a real seahorse, but it's a TV show, and they're going to design, obviously, a new sigil for the Valerians. I think what we've seen is like kind of like a seahorse that has some wings on it, like above their little crypt, but I'm not sure. I mean, I'm all for them changing up whatever they need to from Fire and Blood to make it exciting, make it design, make it fashion, make it all that stuff. But yeah, it is cool to see the sets coming together. All right. Ooh, from Children of Men. I love Children of Men. Any other thoughts on any of this, you guys? Anybody out there have any discussions about the blah? Why would the book fan sites be furious about a changed seahorse thing? Okay, Lamont, dem book fan sites taking it way too seriously. It's a seahorse. Like, make a seahorse what you want. I always get a little irritated about that. Like people who would insist so much that you have to stick exactly to the description in a book about a seahorse that you couldn't change anything for TV, where you actually have like sets and people and designers and statues and everything. I mean, things change, dude. Thank you, Julie.
That's
all right.
funny.
Any other thoughts anybody you got on any of this before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Lovely. All right. I also wanted to bring up before, as we move away from Westeros, where things are definitely happening, excited to see it, that there is another big HBO show coming down the pike. If you ask me, sort of the real successor to Game of Thrones. Have you watched Succession yet, Mia?
Yes and no. I think I told you I made it through 2 episodes, possibly 3 of season 1, but I've seen all of the ruckus this past day or so.
Okay, so not a giant fan. I'm sorry you haven't clicked with it. I really, really loved it. It's this series, Succession on HBO, which is very Game of Thrones-like in that it is about a family that is way too rich and has way too much power, fighting and scheming against each other. And like a lot of shows, the 3rd season was kind of delayed because of the pandemic, but they released a trailer yesterday, and I thought we would watch it really briefly because it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And let me hype out for a second. Roll the clip.
You are Kendall Roy. You are Kendall Roy.
Is it true?
Okay.
He's on his way?
That is Kendall Roy. He went on Emmy for that. Jeremy, I forget his name. I think Jeremy Strong. We got Brian Cox as Logan Roy, the patriarch, the kind of Rupert Murdoch. It's pretty clearly based on the Murdoch family, the whole thing, Succession.
Yeah.
And we can't hear it, but the dialogue still sounds crisp. The actors make this show. They are so good and they're so committed. Oh, she's spitting the book. I want to see what that's about. It's done. It has that Game of Thrones combination of kind of high stakes drama combined with like soap opera that it also Game of Thrones definitely had, and the kind of backstabbing game playing sort of, again, I'm going to say high stakes drama again, political backroom dealing that I think innovated a lot of Game of Thrones. And it also has humor. It's got good performances, and it's modern, which is a bit of a twist. I really, really enjoyed the first 2 seasons, and I'm very, very happy it's coming back. And we have some fans in the audience. We got Natalie, Julie, both like Succession, and Nicole. I think the question was, did we ask a question? I guess if you had any thoughts on any of the House of the Dragon stuff. But now we've moved on. As Lisa says, I need to see Succession. It looks so good, but one show I kept putting off for some reason. Lisa, yeah, there are a lot of shows out right now. There are so many shows to watch. We can keep up with them all. If you have time, I'd move Succession to the top of your list because it is bracingly good. Is there a reason, Mia, that you never quite get into it, do you think? Or just like haven't picked it up?
Yeah. I think I will say everything that you've said for the most part. I think I pretty much agree with. The actors are awesome.
They're good.
There are some very unique, distinct characters, very unique, distinct situations that they find themselves in. I just don't. I think it was for me the kind of humor, which I know it's not like always a humorous show, but I think that it was the dynamic of the way that the characters were written didn't click with me. I don't know why. I think maybe I'm like Vin Diesel, like in Fast and Furious, and I'm like, it's all about family, and so to see a dysfunctional family kind of at war with themselves, I don't know, it was just kind of like I wasn't really necessarily feeling it. I don't know, it's one of those shows that just didn't click with me, and I'm like, I really wish I could love it because I know so many people were talking about it and were excited to
Didn't
see
it
the
win
season
Best
3
Drama
trailer
at the Emmys?
I think it did. I know it won something, yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I can't explain it. I couldn't really sit through 2 episodes, and I am sorry, and I apologize.
I do apologize. I think it kind of feels like Game of Thrones because that show sort of looked at, like back in the day, medieval times, and also fake medieval times. families, rich noble families, were more of a business. Like the Starks are the exception. Most of them are more like the Lannisters, where it is about your kids aren't just to be loved and to pass on your knowledge to. They are to be raised so they can continue the family and be married off to the right people and form alliances and everything. And I'm not going to say the Roy family in Succession is a good example of what they're like today, but that's kind of what they are. Like when you have that much money, like you can't do anything just for your own pleasure. You know, you're watched. Things you do matter. Like if you're a son of a father who owns a billion-dollar multimedia company, like, and you go on a bender and like it gets in the papers, that can like affect the stock price of the company and like cost people jobs and money. Like the considerations are different. And that does kind of resemble, this is on top of my head, by the way, but I don't know if it makes sense. That does kind of resemble the way in olden times, medieval times, if you're a wealthy family, like what you do can't just be for you or isn't just for you, whether you want it to be or not. It does reflect back on sort of the power structure. I also think it's very timely. I mean, look, we talk a lot these days about income inequality, about super rich people. Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson are racing to get into space first, whatever they're doing out there. Mark Zuckerberg is on like a futuristic Jetsons surfboard with an American flag. Like, those are like these big figures in our society. So yeah, I will completely watch a show that kind of examines that world. I think it is time for it. I kind of like put Succession and The Boys are kind of like linked in my head a little bit, in that they're both examining, kind of satirizing the kind of the culture of incredible wealth and power, like far and above of what most people have. And like, how does it work? Is something wrong with it? What's wrong with it if there is? It's fertile ground for drama. And that's my very high-minded reason for being into it. I also just like it. I think it's funny, well written and well acted too.
Yeah. Maybe that's the reason I didn't click with it. Like overly rich white people, I'm like, can't relate even by a long shot. But I know there's a lot of drama, but it was, I think Nicola said it too. She said, I tried several times to get into Succession, but just can't. True, so there's a minority few of us out there who it's not our cup of tea, but where did season 2 leave off? Because it's
sorry.
I am interested to kind of know how the story has progressed.
I would say to the comment about rich white people, I do think Succession is about why they suck, in my opinion.
I know, but that's what makes me not want to watch it.
Fair enough. No, it started off, it's left with Kendall Roy, Jeremy Strong, who won the Emmy for Best Actor, finally breaking away from the family and basically declaring war on them and trying to take over and make some changes there, try to root out the corruption. It's a little bit hopeful. It's a lot cynical. Maybe it'll have a happy ending and he succeeds, but I'm not sure. But I want to see. And then Brian Cox is also a great actor. He's at the top of his game there. I just love that show. Speaking of HBO shows, speaking of things to come back and not coming back.
Says, so do I watch it or not?
I guess we were split decision, Nicole. I say yes, watch it, but I feel like Mia.
Yeah, if you've tried to watch it and still can't get into it, I think if the tone is like consistent throughout all 2 seasons, like if you don't get it once, you probably won't end up liking it for the rest of it. I knew my limit, 2 episodes was enough, and I might go back to try it for the 3rd episode, but I don't think that'll be very likely.
I think it did click for me like a few, like 3 or 4 in, although it's been a while. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I recommend it very highly. And I love to hate it. Stephanie says, haven't started the 2nd season. You know, like there are shows where like everyone is awful. I don't think this is quite that. They have enough like kind of redeeming qualities, but they can't really be good because they're in this system. Like that's kind of where I'm going on. I'm babbling about this.
Yeah, Breaking Bad, I will say, is one where everyone kind of was bad, but I enjoyed their characters like because Jesse. They had these secrets. But okay, good conversation.
Indeed. What other HBO shows are in the news, Mia?
Yeah, so something that is close to my heart from HBO, Lovecraft Country, which they just announced that Lovecraft Country is not coming back for a second season over at HBO. And so for those of who watched it or kind of, need a refresher, they did have a whole season, maybe 8 or so episodes. I don't even remember at this point.
Mm.
But what happened was, because this is an adaptation of a book, Lovecraft Country, you kind of have the source material to work with, and then when you don't, you don't. So all of season 1, they really rushed through the source material, completed the whole story, and then there was like nothing left to tell because they completed the
Yeah.
story in the season. So
Sensible.
yeah. So what happened, it seems like behind the scenes, executive producer Misha Green was kind of talking about this season 2 that they had planned, and she even shared a graphic, which was interesting.
Oh, they got a
in
graphic mocked up.
In her tweet, she was saying, we wish we could have brought you Lovecraft Country supremacy. And it says season 2 of Lovecraft Country begins a new world, and that new world is a country that sits precisely where the United States used to sit. Welcome to the sovereign states of America. And they've got these districts like the tribal nations of the West, the White Lands, the New Negro Republic, and the Jefferson Commonwealth. So it looked like they had a lot of stuff planned. And I'm on the fence, and I don't know how to feel about this being canceled. How have you been feeling, Dan?
Well, I noticed that Chicago and Illinois are in the White Lands, so we're in there. As Nicole says, I'm sad it's not returning. Some episodes were a miss, but those were fantastic. Christian asked if it would be picked up by another service. I'm not sure. It didn't sound like it would when she was talking about it. I enjoyed Lovecraft Country. I thought it was good. I mean, it did feel complete. I wondered how they would get to that. Like a second season where the country is no longer the country, and also there's a zombie outbreak. That was her other tweet about it. Up in the Wetlands. Like, was it going to be an anthology? Was it going to be the same characters that what happened after this happened? Or was it going to be like another story entirely? Also, okay, I'm going to be honest. I did see the tweet about like there's going to be a zombie pandemic, and I became that meme from Devil Wears Prada where it's like zombies, groundbreaking, where it's just
yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't see
more
this
zombies. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the whole appeal about the first season, or the only season, was the fact that there was this mystery that the book had laid out. They solved the mystery, or they followed the mystery. The show added a couple of, scenes that deviated from the book here or there, but it was still very faithful and still very good. But yeah, Lovecraft Supremacy, I think, would just have to be, it would have been a spin-off show almost, maybe, rather than a season 2, where they kind of keep the same characters, or maybe have the focus be shifted to someone else. It's a big cast, so that'd be kind of hard anyway. But the idea maybe could have worked. The zombies, like you said, not super duper original. This is the first, I didn't see that other tweet, so this is the first time I'm hearing about the zombie.
Oh yeah, she said that there was a zombie pandemic, and the zombies all live in the White Lands. Is her idea.
I see. Yeah. I don't know. I think it would have given them a chance to tighten up some of the criticisms we had, like, tightening up the lore, tightening up, how you can use magic. And I think the best part about this was the characters, especially the actors, Jonathan Majors and Jeremy Small, and literally everyone. So it's heartbreaking to kind of see that the characters won't be back, but I think story-wise, I'm okay. I can kind of, say I've got closure with this. I don't need any more story necessarily, and
I agree.
Yeah.
I do think that, I mean, we tend to assume, especially in the US, that like everything that like a season of TV is supposed to be the start of a series of TV, where that's not the way it is everywhere. Like in England, for example, like they have a lot of things. It's just like, here's episodes of a TV show, and here's a beginning, middle, and end, and it ends. I don't think like you necessarily need to have a giant series to make a good bit of TV. And Lovecraft Country did stand out. I mean, I loved it, how bold it was, and kind of how bracing it was. And I love that it gave that talent chance to shine. And the main guy, Jonathan Majors, going on other stuff, which I think is well deserved. It could have been cool, but I don't know. I'm not that torn up about it because it felt complete.
Oh yeah. I think at best what Misha Green could do now is just kind of like, I don't know if we were going to get to this, but the Zack Snyder thing, like taking his Star Wars pitch and turning it into something new, like Rebel Moon. So I think she could do that, take her idea, kind of twist it, give it original characters. And if she likes that genre, then continue to do something in that realm and just not have it be labeled or branded as Lovecraft Country. And it might still be a hit.
As Jen says, I was sick of the zombie stuff when Return of the Living Dead came out. To me, it's an eye roll. What you need to know is shut it in the head or set it on fire. That's it. Also, HBO, I wonder if this is it. Like, HBO does have The Last of Us coming, which is another zombie show. I wonder if they were like, ooh, Misha, we already ordered a bunch of episodes of this. What if they were werewolves? Or something like that.
I didn't think about that.
That might have been it, actually, because they did commit pretty hard to The Last of Us, which is a zombie show.
I know I've seen some people say like, oh, the whole new United States thing would have seemed a little risky, or the executives were scared. I was like, they already in a way took a risk by doing Lovecraft Country in the first place. So
yeah, it was a pretty ballsy show. Like it had some things to say, Lovecraft Country.
So yeah, I don't know if that was the problem. Maybe Netflix will come to the rescue.
Misha Green, come on the show.
Yeah, let us talk.
Yeah. Other than that, we are watching some other stuff. I'm sure we both watched an episode of Loki this morning. And I will just get us started on saying, like, this show does not quit. Like, this show is really strong. The show, it's so imaginative, and they have the money to back it all up. Like, this one, Loki and the gang went to the void at the end of time. He met a bunch of Loki variants. One was played by oh god,
Richard
I don't
Grant.
remember his name. Yeah, there you go, Richard E. Grant. Thank you. One was an alligator. This show does a great job of combining very kind of out there Rick and Morty, Doctor Who sci-fi humor with the kind of special effects those shows can't really pull off because they got Disney money.
Yeah.
With some genuine earnest stuff and keeping it all in the framework of this wider Marvel Cinematic Universe in a way that doesn't teeter out of control. It's pretty impressive work. What was my favorite bit? It was good. I liked it. I liked the Loki. I liked Loki's fighting each other. I like the sudden and unexpected betrayal of the one by the other.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the little emotional bits where Loki and Sylvie were bonding and Loki and Mobius hug goodbye. That was my favorite part. That was sweet. I liked the pizza car he drove. I liked the kind of doom and gloom and the kind of green hue over the entire place. The cliffhanger was effective. It's just fun. I love the alligator. That's a nice little grace note. Again, like very Doctor Who, very Monty Python. It feels British to me, like this show a bit in its kind of esoteric humor sometimes. Thanos helicopter. I heard that. Do you know what that is?
I've seen it like the panel from the comic when like around Infinity War, and everyone's like, hey, have you heard about the Thanos copter? And that's literally all I know about is that it exists. That was a fun little Easter egg. Apparently there was a Throg Easter egg, Frog Thor as well. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. I wouldn't say it was my favorite or if it topped the previous episode. It was a little bit of a slow build. It had its moments here and there. But I still enjoyed it a lot. I've got this Journey into Mystery shirt that I've had for a very long time. Actually, I think Loki's at the bottom. Let's see. Oh, there he is.
Because Journey into Mystery is the title of a comic book, and that's how that's the title of the episode too.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was a nice little Easter egg as well. I remember Taika Waititi always talking about. He's like, "Yeah, I want to return back to the whole, whatever he says in his accent, the whole Journey into Mystery origin." So I really, really like that. I think I pretty much agree with everything you said. The whole Loki's coming together, being their own like band of misfits. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is a nice shirt. And Richard E. Grant, me and my brother had the same exact idea because we kind of text each other during the show, and I was like, he was like, Richard E. Grant reminds me of Peter Capaldi, Doctor Who. And I was like, yes, I was thinking
very much that.
So it's like we've got, Sylvie kind of reminding me of the 13th Doctor, and now the Peter Capaldi Doctor. So yeah, so feeling like Doctor
The whole
Who.
thing has a Doctor Who feel. It
Yeah.
just
Or
does. No getting around it. That's fine.
like the one where the 10th Doctor met like David Tennant and Matt Smith when they met, and they always have these like weird, crazy crossovers. And they found out John Hurt was also a doc. You don't remember that? The big.
I remember that one.
Okay.
I don't recall Peter Capaldi being in it actually.
No, not Peter Capaldi. I don't think he was hired yet, but that would be interesting. So yeah, this one was really fascinating. They're trying to. I saw them still playing up that this Loki Sylvie romance with like the the smooth move with the blanket. That's gonna be an interesting build
It's
up
a
in the
little
finale.
hokey, but I mean, I'll go with it.
Yeah, it's cheesy, but they tried. I think the only one of the, I wouldn't call it a complaint, the criticisms maybe was kind of having Mobius a little sidelined in this episode and then kind of giving him a
Yeah, a bit.
farewell. I thought maybe he could be more useful in the finale. We might see him again in the finale.
I'm sure we will. He's gonna burn it down.
Yeah, it's like please, please, please. And then there's the whole.
I was gonna say that. I mean, so far the Marvel series have had a problem to me with ending. I've always said this, but because their job ultimately, they want to entertain you, but they want to tee off the next thing more. Yeah. So like WandaVision was really interesting, and then it kind of was a little pat in the end. Like, God, remember that bit where she was walking through the town? She's like, "They'll never look at me the same way again." It's like, yeah, because you trapped them for weeks and hid the daughter. They shouldn't. Why aren't you arrested? And then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like to me, like the most interesting character was that John Walker guy, and he just like kind of walks away into the next movie, whatever he's in.
Yeah.
I hope that they can follow through with this because it has been really, really strong. Like I love this Christian suggestion. I'll be sad when Sylvie acts as the true Loki and double crosses over MCU Loki in the end. That would be a fun, like in character but still unexpected twist. That would be cool.
That would be unexpected. I think that would break my heart, though.
It would, but I don't want my heart broken. Break my heart.
No.
You're not breaking my heart. You're not good drama. Do it.
I think the biggest twist will probably come with the who's behind the TVA. Who is it Kang the Conqueror? Is it? I've seen a lot of people saying it's probably
Agatha
another Loki.
All along.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's a contender. But everyone's like, oh, it might be another Loki because he's just been at the center of everything anyway. I don't know how I feel about that twist. It seems, I don't know if it feels lazy to me or if it just doesn't seem very fulfilling unless they found out a way to do it very fulfilling. Like,
what if it's Hugh Jackman's Wolverine?
Yeah, someone's like, yeah, it should be Deadpool. He's just breaking the fourth wall all over the place. So yeah, they had a really awesome build up. The scene with Richard E. Grant at the end when he comes and he's like, good. Building up the Asgard illusion and all that stuff. And I don't know what they're trying to do, trying to enchant the scary cloud or whatever is going on, but it was still exciting. They built it up in a way to the point where they made the cliffhanger for the episode feel like, oh man, why is it ending now? I want to see what happens next. So they did an awesome job. And I'll say right now, there's not much that they can do to make me hate this show in the finale. I think right now it's at my number one Marvel show. It just surpassed WandaVision. So I don't think if they trash the finale totally, I'll hate it. I will be disappointed, I guess, but not surprised. But it's like the bar is low, guys. So please just do anything.
The bar should not be low. This is a Disney Marvel joint series. The bar should be high. And they've had some good stuff. I'm looking forward to it too. Here's hoping. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool what Stephanie says. Past my love of Norse gods and goddesses to my oldest, he named his daughter Freya. That is
that's lovely.
That's a good name. That's one of those names where it's like it's cool and kind of nerdy, but still enough like a name that you're not going to get laughed out of class, you know?
Yeah.
That is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like that's I think why Arya is such a big name from Game of Thrones, put her name in it. Cause like, yeah, it's fantasy, it's nerdy, it's cool, but it's also like not absurd.
Yeah.
Like you could name your kid that and get away with it. That's the key.
Yeah. It's
when
not
naming
Bilbo,
children.
stop talking, stop passing notes.
Yes.
That's a whole other level.
It's not Saruman Smith up in the fourth row. You can't go too far with it.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Maybe the next one. And finally, we have our WiC News lightning round, where you and I kind of go through a bunch of stories that are cool, but we didn't have time to fit into the main show, and just get 20 seconds each, or together, to sound off on them. And Mia, I thought you would deliver the. I arranged them kind of a way where we would know the most about, like, if you go first and flip back and forth.
All right.
Are we ready?
Let the lightning round begin. All right.
Okay.
Up first, stunt person says Amazon's Lord of the Rings set is so unsafe.
Yeah, we've been hearing some nasty stuff about that giant Amazon Lord of the Rings. So we're talking about Bilbo and Saruman. Apparently, like, stunt people are falling off things. Their rigging's not correct. The stunt coordinator is a bit lax. We don't know a lot about this show, and there's so much money. Like, why can you not get it right if you have all this, like, billions of dollars put into the show? This would be the one thing you can do right, is at least hire. Okay, and we're done.
Ooh.
All right, next story. Mark Hamill urges fans not to buy merch commemorating when Luke gets his hand chopped off. Like, it's like merch going him going like.
Yeah, I saw that tweet, and I think this might have been, playful Mark Hamill. It didn't seem like he was super serious about it. He is kind of like the grandpa or the uncle of Twitter. So I don't know. It was hard to kind of read his tone. To me, it felt like it was just kind of like, oh, why would you want to do something like that? And my hand got cut off. But I mean, he's had years to talk about it, so why now? Okay, next one. Michelle Yeoh joins the cast of the Witcher prequel.
I love Michelle Yeoh. Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragon for life. What a great performance. That's a big get. Like, I think that's bigger than Henry Cavill to me. Like, she's amazing. Gunpowder Milkshake is a great movie, or will be when it comes out. The Witcher prequel, I'm not that interested in it, honestly. It seems like they're going to do that thing where they kind of like make a franchise out of nothing because they're only one season of the show yet. But I'll watch it for Michelle Yeoh's in it. She looks like a sword-wielding elf. Pretty cheesy, very Xena, but okay.
Woohoo.
I still like it. All right. Bonnie Wright, who played Ginny in the Harry Potter things, says she hopes Harry Potter isn't rebooted. Mia, what do you think? Should it be rebooted?
I guess I also share that sentiment. I'm one of those people who, in a way, I do feel like the core cast, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, are all like those characters, unless it's on stage. But otherwise, I don't want there to be new. This could be a tradition. You don't always have to remake movies. I think spin-offs, like a Sirius Black and Harry's dad would work. Don't replace them.
Speed it up.
All right.
Faster. Okay.
Charlie's there and says the Old Guard sequel begins filming next year.
The Old Guard was good. It was this movie about unexpected huge hit where a bunch of immortal superheroes just really good at fighting over the centuries, just do good over the world. It was solid. It was fun. It was unexpected. It was kind of down to earth. It was. I will totally watch it, and I'm glad it's like a sequel. It's not like the Old Guard cinematic universe just being birthed out of nothing. I'm glad it's going to be like a solid movie sequel. There we go. I think it was pretty much done. I was more or less finished. That was pretty good. All right. According to James Gunn, every Marvel show before WandaVision, so like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daredevil, is not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that because I thought those shows, they talked about stuff that happened in the movies. So I thought they were canon to the universe. And I thought that those characters did have a shot at coming back. So it seems kind of weird. I kind of want to hear it from Kevin Feige. I know James Gunn is James Gunn, but I want to hear it from Kevin Feige because everyone loves, Charlie Cox and all those actors who are in those. And to me, they are canon.
To you.
Let's see, where are we at? Okay, almost done. Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies cut a naked Hobbit scene.
They did cut a naked Hobbit scene where like Merry and Pippin fell out of some branches and they were naked. It was a joke scene. It was like kind of like a gay panic thing where they throw it and like hold me. Oh no, we're so scared. It wasn't like anything sexy. It was totally a joke scene. That's kind of relevant because the Lord of the Rings show that apparently the stunt people are all dying on, not dying, getting injured. They're putting more sex into that, and that's kind of very nominal. We talked about before. Okay, okay. I have so many thoughts. Okay, that's the rule. 20 seconds. Okay, Loki's Sophie DiMartino, who plays Sylvie, wouldn't turn her nose up at playing the Doctor. Would she be a good candidate?
I think yes, but she would have to make it something different from, because her doctor is so reminiscent of Jodie Whittaker's doctor right now. So I would want to
Yes.
see a cut and copy. You have to make the doctor your own. So she would have to dye her hair a certain color. She'd have to act a different way. I think she can definitely pull it off if we want more female doctors. But yeah, you basically just got to make it your own. I'm gonna finish early. Or right on the dot.
It is kind of like two on the nose, isn't it? It's like it's
Yeah.
exactly like the last Doctor, so
Yeah.
it's just been different.
All
right.
right. So The Boys launches Vought News Network, haha, VNN digital series.
That's cool. I love The Boys because they're just so blatantly satiric and like just like they're not subtle. Like we're gonna skewer Fox News, CNN, the My Pillow guy, Donald Trump, Patriots, the insurrection, all that stuff, and in like a fun, let's laugh at it way, which you don't really get a lot from like kind of higher stakes drama. I need to go quicker. Okay, and finally, the last one. Zack Snyder is making Rebel Moon, which he pitched to Lucasfilm as a Star Wars movie back when for Netflix. Homage or ripoff?
Yeah, I don't know if you would call it ripoff. I unfortunately don't have faith in this movie. The Zack Snyder name has done nothing to give me hope in the last couple of years. So he's gonna make it. It's probably gonna be very sci-fi and reminiscent of Star Wars, you know, plus or minus a couple things, but I might catch it. I don't really care to catch it because it's not Star Wars, because it's Zack Snyder, but we'll see. I'll check out the trailer when it comes out.
You know, I thought 20 seconds would be like a long time. It feels like it's nothing.
It is,
but I guess that's
yeah, it's the game.
but
Those are the rules.
yeah. I guess that's the point. If we keep doing it, we'll shave it down. All right, this is a fun episode, Mia. I had a good time talking with you, and with all of you guys out there. Stephanie, I'm gonna guess that is in reaction to the Naked Hobbit story. They cut it. We didn't have to see it, so at least that's nice. Any other thoughts, Mia, or anybody you out there before we sign off for the day?
No, we've got some great comments. Winter commercials coming back. We'll see when we get some sponsors.
We will see the second we have. I mean,
yeah.
Let's put it this way, Christian. You'll know.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to make up some skits now just to fill the time. But yeah, great comment.
There's a podcast called Arlo Cast I listen to about video games, and they just started. I follow him on YouTube, and he doesn't have any sponsor yet, so he just has a space like every episode where he's like, "Our show is brought to you by this yard sale I passed on the way here. Go get your baubles and stuff." Like it's really funny.
Beautiful.
It's pretty fun. And
yeah, we'll have to do that.
But we'll see. Yeah, thanks, Julie. See you. And if you want to listen to us more, we are available in podcast form on Google Play, iTunes, wherever podcasts are downloadable. Otherwise, we stream live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time here on the Winter is Coming Facebook page and the Winter is Coming YouTube channel. I'm gonna read this last comment before I go off. Says Stephanie, Dan, you talk so fast, you should have no problem getting a paragraph in 20 seconds. You would think,
yeah,
you would think, but apparently I don't. We can work through it next week. See you guys then. Goodbye.
Bye.